All right, so it looks like I'm live right now. So, hey everyone, thank you so much for everyone who is coming into the live stream right now. I'm super excited. I just wanted to kind of sit at home. I know we're kind of all trapped at home right now, and hopefully bring you guys a little bit of joy by sitting down and crafting along with you guys. So I'll wait for a couple of you guys to join in. Of course, I still want this to be replayable for all you replay viewers. So if you're watching it later on, hello, welcome. I'll try to keep down the chatting to a minimal and just answering questions and things like that. So it's really helpful for you guys as well. All right. So without further ado, let's get right into it. A lot of people are saying hi in the chat right now. So hey everyone, thank you so much for joining today. I love doing these kind of impromptu, but maybe I'll come up with a schedule in the future as well, where I could do scheduled live streams, but I kind of just fit them around into my schedule right now. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be creating with some of my awesome products from my January release. I'm really excited about that stuff, and some of the stuff I haven't used a ton, so I wanted to work it in today's video, and of course, maybe incorporate it with some other products as well. Awesome. Somebody said they were just wondering where I were. They were hoping I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I have something fun coming up, though, in the next week or week and a half. And you guys will be seeing sneak peeks and stuff for that soon on my Instagram and things like that. So I'm really excited about it. Okay, so let's turn down to my work surface and get right into it. All right, so what I wanted to share in today's video is you guys have probably seen this stamp set before. This one is called Flower Picking Friends, and of course it's well loved. It's got a little mask in there as well. But basically, these are large flowers that you can make these little characters hold on your card, which I think is so much fun. And I wanted to share kind of how to use this along with the washi tape strips that we released. Now the washi tape strips are something that I've covered, something that I really love using in my projects and embellishments. The main thing that I do use these for is sealing envelopes, because that's what I love to use washi tape for. But in today's live stream, I want to share a couple other ways to use the washi tape in your projects. Because if you guys purchase this, I want to make sure you have lots of ways to get use out of it. And of course, you could use it in art journals or things like that as well. And I'll share a couple different ways to use it in today's video. Now, this comes with 8 sheets of the washi tape strips, which I really love. Let me grab them here. I love that we did them in washi tape sheets, because then it's easier for you to store, whether you want to keep it along with your stamp set or anything like that. It's easy to store. You get 8 sheets of these awesome and fun designs that coordinate along with that stamp set, which is so much fun. And so the reason why I wanted them to coordinate is in case if you're making a card with this, you can of course seal the envelope with this, but also you could use images along with the grass or things like that in your cards, which I think is so awesome. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's get into my project here. So let's start off just with a piece of my stark white cardstock. Now what I want to do, oh thanks, Suzanne said the snails are so cute. Thank you. I had so much fun drawing and designing those. So what I'm going to start off with is Clear Skies ink, and I want to just create kind of a scene on my card. So I'm just going to do a little bit of Clear Skies. We'll bring it in from the top, and we're going to create kind of like a little sky scene here. Nothing too harsh. I want it to be really light and subtle color. So I'm just blending on a little bit of color from up top, and I'll go not too far down on my card. I just want a little bit of kind of like the thought of a sky. It doesn't need to be super dark or anything like that. And just blend it out back into the white cardstock. Awesome. And then I'll do the edges just a little bit darker. And that's the cool thing about my cardstock, the stark white cardstock, is there's no coating on it. And so you can really layer up the color to get it darker and darker rather than having a coating and just kind of being stuck with that one color that you have. So it really takes the inks very nicely, which I love about my cardstock. All right, so there that is. And now all the products are links down below. Are linked in the description box, so you guys can go check them out. There's my ink pads down there. Anything from my new release is out down there, which is super awesome. So if you want to check anything that I talk about in today's video, they are down there. Awesome. So then I'm going to take my distress sprayer, and we all know I like to just spray a little bit of water on my projects because my inks react with water. So I'm just going to spray a little bit there to get some texture going, and then I'll lift off some of that color. And I like to go through some of the basics just in case if you guys aren't familiar with my inks. So that will remove the color and it'll give you kind of that lighter color that's on the package too. So that's why we put both colors like that on the package so that you can kind of see what you're going to get when you use that lighter color. Awesome. Check if you guys have any questions. Oh, thanks so much, Suzanne. Suzanne donated $2. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. I really appreciate it. So there is the sky scene. Now let's go in and I'm going to use the grass. And so with the washi tape strips, all it takes is you just have to find the little edge. They're already cut out of the they're already cut out of the backing paper here. They're almost like little stickers. Then all you have to do is pull it off and then you could use it. They are like stickers, however, it's the same washi material that you know and love and that you're used to from anybody else's washi tape as well. So let's see, let's put it like, let me see. Yep, that's my mom. Yep, she stopped by in the chat. Okay, so I want that to be about there. I always, if you ever need to check on like size or anything like that, that's why I love clear stamp sets, because you can literally grab the stamp set, test out sentiments, test out where things can kind of go and fit. So that's why I love those clear stamp sets. And now, of course, you could either cut it off or just fold it over to the back here. And there we go, we have a quick and easy grounding place. And because it's that white background and it's that washi tape material, it's not really shiny and it kind of blends into that background, which is super awesome. So it almost just feels like the paper, which is super nice. I think it was just a donation to my channel. Someone said, what are the donations for? I've seen lots of live streams where they're donating to different places, but I can't figure out how to do that. I don't know if it's something that I have to talk to YouTube about or something, but okay. So that I cut off about 1 inch, and we're gonna do the same thing at this side and here. So we're kind of making our panel a little bit smaller. Perfect. So here is what it looks like now. We have that awesome grass panel that I love right at the bottom, and then we have the sky up here. And then what we could do is go in with our images and start our stamping, which is so fun. So let me go in here. Let's see, which one should we use? I think I'm going to use, I haven't really used this one, I don't think. So I think that's the one I'm going to use today, and I'll use it with the little bear. Oh, hey, Jeff Lindbergh. He stopped by to chat. He said, some of us are trying to get some work done. Why are you distracting us? Well, I apologize. Go back to work. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this flower then, and then I'm also going to do the same thing with the bear. And then we could do our stamping. So when I do this and I'm coloring in an image, if I'm doing detailed watercolor work, I like to go in with watercolor cardstock. My cardstock takes the water really well. However, if I'm doing more detailed work, I like to have a little bit more time to play around with the colors, and this doesn't sink in the color as much, which is really nice. I don't think my inks will work well over the tape. However, if you have any colored archival inks, the archival inks will work really well over top of that tape. You just have to give them a second or two to dry. And I'll show you that in just a second, I think. Does the tape have a shiny finish? Let me check. I don't think it does. Let me see. It's not going to... You know what, we're gonna test that. I'll test inking it out in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that my inks won't sit on top of it because they're water-based, and so they have a hard time drying on any other surface than paper, but we'll test it out, just because I'm not quite sure. I haven't really tried that out before. Now, to answer your question, if it has a shiny finish, it almost just blends in with the cardstock. Like, look, if you go really close, you can tell that it's there, but it's not, per se, shiny. You know? It almost has a similar texture to the cardstock does. Okay. Ranger wants their supplies back. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Because it says their name on the bottom here. I think I took this from a creativation class, but I don't regret it. It has a nice ink. They've got millions of them, but it was an accident. I just packed my bags and that happened to sneak in there, so. Okay, so here's Crown Me. I'm going to press that down on the surface. And so here I'm just going to lay out some of the colors that I want to use on my card. So here I'll use some Sike. I'll go in with a little bit of Later Gator. Yeah, I had to pack up my suitcase really quick, and so I just grabbed everything from my cart. Here's Tropical Tango. Okay, and then we'll add a little bit of Gur. And I think let's add a little bit of Slippery When Wet. Awesome. So let's go in here. I'm going to put down some water onto my surface. Yeah, I just packed my bags. Exactly. Yeah, but there's like, okay, I have like a lot of archival inks in here though, just the black archival, because I use them so often. So yeah, they're all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and just start my watercoloring. Now I'm just going in with Gur at first and just doing kind of a light wash of my color over top of here. And after I've done this light wash of color, I can then go in and add a little bit of shading as well. So I'm going to go in here into kind of this darker part where I added a little bit more pressure on the ink pad, and then you can go in and create some shaded areas. Now, I don't really do it with any rhyme or reason when I'm adding my shading. I just do it to wherever I see necessary. There's no sunlight coming in from anywhere. I don't really follow those kind of rules. I just go in and color however I want to, wherever I feel like there would be a little shadow. Okay, so there's that little guy, and then we'll add a little bit of Slippery When Wet in with the brown to create this lighter brown color for his little snout and tummy. The Ranger Police will be at my door. Oh no, I'm missing a lot of comments. Okay. How are you guys doing during this time? I have been, we've been self-isolating. I think the whole state of Wisconsin is kind of down right now, but it's kind of been a time to relax though and kind of be at home. I really admire anyone who is still at work right now, or any nurses or doctors, so thank you so much guys for what you all do. It's really awesome. But yeah, how have you guys been hanging in there? I know lots of you guys probably have to do some homeschooling now, which is probably a little bit more difficult, but I hope you're hanging in there. So let's go in with a little bit of Later Gator. We'll add a little bit of Tropical Tango too. I love these three colors to create this really beautiful shading for your leaves. Oh, thanks, Melissa. She said it's mesmerizing watching you create. I'm just having fun. I thought I would just sit down today and do a little live stream. A lot of times I'm using new products and things like that and always trying to incorporate the newest stuff, but I love going back in with my releases, even though this one is literally the newest release, and just sitting down and playing with it and giving you guys ideas. I think sometimes, you know, videotaping is really good, but just going live is really good too, because then you guys can get any questions out or things like that as well, because I know I can't always go in and answer those. Okay, one thing I forgot. Let me grab a little bit of Bee Sting. I love this color with my purple. So then I'll go in with a little bit of Crown Me. And guys, we'll get back to the washi tape. I'm just kind of going here to create this so that we can fill in that area. And then again, we can add purple in here. I'll kind of mix these colors together. No real rhyme or reason. There doesn't need to be tons of shading. Just create this beautiful flower. And if you want the colors to not bleed and blend into each other, you can always heat set the layer. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of stop that color from really bleeding into the next one. But I kind of like that look, so I'm just going to keep going in here. Just do a wash of this red. See, and there's no real rhyme or reason when I do it. You guys can kind of tell. In the end, it all kind of works out. Yep, I'm staying inside. I've been in here for like I think 1 week so far. Well, thanks, Melissa. She said she's a nurse, but it's kind of a crazy time right now, definitely. We really appreciate you, though. Ooh, okay, all the comments are coming really fast right now. I'm having a hard time reading them. Okay, so I'm just going in and painting this all in red, and then I'm going to go in with that purple to do some shading. So you can really kind of play around with how you want to do this. And if you want to heat set in between layers, you totally can. I would, but I forgot to plug in my heat tool before the live, if I'm just being honest here. So that's why I'm not going in and heating any layers, but it just helps to stop the colors from moving. And I might have to just get up and plug it in a second. But here I'll just add a little bit of shading. When I'm doing flowers, I like to add it kind of around the center of the petals, because that's where that would naturally be, and it creates this really beautiful shadowed look on your flower. Just so much fun. So there we go. I'm no Kathy Rakusin, but I just have fun with my coloring, and I think it looks pretty good in the end. Now here I'm going to go in with some Slippery and Wet and just add a little touch of yellow to some of these petals as well to create a little bit of a highlight or lighter color kind of on the edge of some of the petals. And that's just going to introduce a little bit more variety as well. Just give a little bit of bright color to the edge. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to get up and plug in my heat tool quick. Bear with me. Everybody chat in the live stream for a second here. Okay. I'm back. And I'm just going to go in here with my little heat tool. I just want it to be nice and dry. Awesome. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go in here and start my cutting now. And I know my stamps do not have dies, but usually they're pretty easy shapes to cut out. Like with this, it's a very easy flower. I leave a little bit of a white border, and then I also, okay, my dogs didn't go nuts. They're downstairs with my mom, so but the doorbell just rang. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here and cut this out. Now the thing with this is I like to use these spring assist scissors. They actually like push out on your fingers once you're done, and that just makes it a little bit easier to cut. Your fingers also aren't like trapped in anything because you're just pushing against it, which is really nice. So that's one thing that I found helped with fussy cutting. But also I do pretty simple shapes and leave a little bit of white border. That way if I do make a little bit of a mistake, it's not really cutting into the image. And you just have a little border right around your image, which I think is fun. And especially when I do colorful inked backgrounds, the little white border just makes it kind of stand out. And then also one more tip, make sure to be turning your paper instead of your scissors, and that will help you get a nice smooth cut on your cardstock. So I hope that kind of helps. I know a lot of you don't love to fussy cut. In my classes, I do make everybody fussy cut some images out. And you kind of learn it. It's not too difficult, especially with these kind of images. It looks a little daunting, but it only takes, about a minute or 30 seconds for a larger image like this. And then again, with these flowers, you really don't need to cut them out unless if you create a whole background with them. Oh, Jeff said, it's about to go down. The ranger police are here. That's why the doorbell rang, huh? Yeah, we are working on some things. We have things in the works maybe for dyes, but we'll see. It's not set in stone or really completely in our plans right now. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to do things like that. But we'll see. Always your requests are definitely being heard. You'll see kind of in the next couple of releases. I'm definitely listening to some of the things you guys are saying with designs and stuff like that, and I'm really excited for some of the next releases to come out. So let's finish off cutting this out here. Okay. So look at that fun little flower there. And then I just have the little bear left, and this guy is super easy to cut out. Just a little tiny image, right? Okay, just going in here and fussy cutting this out. Let's see, I'm trying to read comments. I have lost so many comments that I've been trying to read, but can't because they are too fast. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Okay. So again, I'm just leaving a little bit of a white border. And one thing you'll notice about my borders or cutting or things like that, they're not always super even. And I was joking about Rena with this too. Like, they don't really have to be super even because once your whole card is complete, it's not like anybody's going to really focus on the width of the border all the way around. So that's why I include that white border. It just gives you a little bit of a barrier, and you don't have to go into all the details then, which I think is great. Okay. So, going to set this off to the side. And let me show you guys one more thing too with the backgrounds. Now, we just colored in those images and stuff. Hey Bonnie. Bonnie said it's her first time watching me live. Well, welcome. So this is kind of my puddle of my inks that I just made, and I'm going to use it to create another background. So I'm just using a piece of stark white cardstock. Now, lots of people have been asking what kind of cardstock I use for this, and I just use my stark white cardstock. It works nicely. And then I'm going to just go in here and add some color down, kind of slosh it through some of that color, and it creates this beautiful kind of watercolor background. And, you know, these colors probably aren't meant to work together. Usually lots of greens and purples and greens and reds will make brown together, but this didn't really create an icky color. I find that with my inks it's a little bit more difficult to create brown, and I'm not sure what about them or how they mix together, but it's a little bit more difficult to create brown when you're creating, so I always say they're a really good beginner ink for that reason too, especially if you don't want to have to worry about the color wheel, because I just go in and use them kind of all together and create these fun backgrounds with whatever colors I feel like it, and it doesn't create a bad look. So those scissors are Fisker's Spring Assist scissors. Those are my favorite ones. I have used lots of scissors over time, but these are my favorite for fussy cutting. For anything else, I love the Tim Holtz scissors. I actually like the biggest size the best for the Tim Holtz scissors, just because I use them for, you know, these for fussy cutting with the smaller tip, and then this one I use for lots of different stuff. We have these all over our house, just because they're super strong and sharp scissors, so we use them out of the craft room too, and they're just phenomenal scissors. So, yeah, that's the ones that I like the most. Okay. No, I'm not wasting the color. No, this creates such a beautiful background. And I'm going to stamp down on top of it in just a second here. But I want to first finish off this card. So you can see here, this is how I used the grass. And, you know, it's not a stamp or anything like that. It's not ink blending, which I like, but it just gives you such a clean and simple look. And it doesn't look like a sticker. Like, when I'm looking at it in person, too, it's difficult to tell, and especially on camera, you can barely tell that it's even there. Okay, so let's go in here with some foam tape. First, I'm just going to set this down and kind of test out where I want it to be. So I'll have it be about there. And then I'm just going to add some of my favorite adhesive down. This is the ThermoWeb Tape Runner. This is by far my favorite. I've tested out tons of tape runners and things like that, and this one has really held up over time and been one of my faves. Okay. Then I'll go in here, just adhere it down onto my card, and then add a little bit of foam tape for the bear. So what do you guys think? Are you guys enjoying the live stream? Sometimes I get a little bit worried that you don't just want to see me crafting, you always want to see a bunch of techniques, but hopefully I'm giving you lots of tips while I'm crafting, so that it's still really informative as well. It's always difficult to tell. Okay, so I'll add some foam tape down to there. Once I'm done with that, it's ready to be adhered down onto my card. And so all I need to do is just adhere that little guy down. So look at that. Awesome. Okay. How wide are the whiskers? Wide. I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly. This is it compared to my hand. So not super wide there. Okay. So, oh, the blades too are pretty thin. So you can get into tight areas with them. That's why I love them. Okay, so... Yeah, I'm so glad. Okay, so what is my desktop made out of? My desktop is actually just a laminate surface. I actually don't recommend stamping with the laminate surface or doing inks on it. I just do it because it looks good in the video, but I don't want you guys ruining your laminate surfaces or anything like that. So don't really test it on that. That's why I do it. I just do it because it looks good, but... Okay, so I'm going to stamp down my little sentiment. This one I put together to say, hello, my friend. And again, we're going to use Ranger's Archival ink. And we'll stamp it down onto my card. Awesome. So there we have that background. And then all I would do to finish this off is just take this piece. Let's see. You can add it right down onto a card panel. Do I want anything else on there? Let's see. I mean, you could do like a wood grain background, but I think just keeping it simple is probably the way to go with this one. I like it just white on that background. So that's what I'm gonna do. You must get these scissors. Yeah, they're amazing. They're my favorite for fussy cutting. I take them everywhere. I take them to classes and stuff. Because without them, I couldn't do it. Maybe that's the trick to fussy cutting. Maybe it's all in the scissors. It really is. Like, things like that are very difficult if you're not using the right tool. And so even with trimmers and stuff like that, I used to use very different trimmers. You guys saw me pull out the tonic trimmer. This one's the travel size, but I love the travel and full size ones. And those really changed the game for me too, because I could never get anything to cut straight or really smooth, and those do a great job. So it's all in the tools that you're using too. Make sure your card opens the right way, of course, and then we can add it right down onto our card. Awesome. So look at how fun that one is. So clean and simple. But I love that grass. Again, when I pull it really close and it focuses in there, you can definitely see it, but it just makes such an awesome card once it's all done. I love it. So that was just using the Flower Picking Friends stamp set along with my washi tape strips. And let me show you a couple other ways to use the washi tape strips. So of course you got something a little bit more, intricate using the stamp set as well with it, which you can totally do. I think it is so much fun to create a fun card like this. Big sentiments. I'm definitely working on some more big sentiments as well. Okay, so let me go in and show you another way to use the washi tape. So one way that I like to use it as well is I'll go in and just use, the grass is actually a piece of tape. So these are my washi tape strips. They come in a pack of 8 sheets, and here is that grass on there. So that's what that is. Yep, it's just washi tape, right? But that's why I love my washi tape, is because instead of it just being patterns and things like that, it's actually images that I drew out and designs that I've drawn out. And so basically, you can use these on your cards along with your stamps, or you can use them like you've already stamped them, which I think is so awesome. So here, I'm gonna take my acrylic black, you'll see why in just a second, and I'm going to put it right up against one of these flowers here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to just get these 3 guys cut out. So what I'm going to do, it's a little bit difficult when it's just sitting on my table like this, but I'm going to peel it up like this. Okay, and then what this acrylic block is going to act as is it's going to act as a blade, but I can see through it. So I'm going to make sure that my image is exactly where I want it to be cut, make sure it's nice and straight, and then I'm going to pull up on the washi tape. And I did this at Creativation. I don't know why it didn't just rip as well as I wanted it to, but I did it at Creativation and it gives a much smoother rip. Let me try this again. Guys, let me try this again. We're going to see. Because I think maybe at Creativation I was using, it like worked perfectly there. I think I might have been using a thinner acrylic black. Let me try it one more time. Not everything goes perfect on lives, but I want to make sure that this can work for you guys if it does work for me. So what I'm going to do is let me just hold it down really firm, and then, guys, it doesn't work. Don't try this. Okay. Well, what I wanted it to do is cut off, but pull your strip off, and then we could do our cutting. Y'all, it worked so good at Creativation compared to how it is now, but whatever. So, of course, it's just as easy to go in with the scissors and cut it, but I just thought that that was a good way to keep it on the sheet, but just cut it out and then put the piece that you're not using right back onto the washi tape sheet. Yep, the washi tape is available now. See, guys, now on live, we get to include all of our fun mistakes. Okay. So I'm just going to then find the center of my cardstock a little bit upward from the center, and then I can push my washi tape down onto my card. And again, this has a white background, so it's really easy to blend in with your card. When I was designing it, I was like, they're kind of boring. Like maybe I want like a blue background for one of them. But the reason why we added a white background is so that it's super easy to do this and add it onto a card, not have it be super visible, but then have a quick card to easily run out the door with. So let me go here and grab a sentiment. Let's see. I'm going to do just for you because that can really be used for almost anything. I love that sentiment. It's a great all occasions. Going to ink it up with Ranger's Archival ink. And then let me just see to line it up in the center and stamp it down. Awesome. So there is my fun sentiment to go along with it. I definitely stamped that a little bit crooked, but yes. Exactly, Jen, definitely. We all make lots of mistakes. I just cut them out of my videos if they're not necessary. But yes, we've all been there. Guys, it doesn't work. Exactly. Yeah, it didn't work as well as it did at the trade show, but I don't know what I was doing there. I did use a different acrylic block, so maybe that's it. But yeah, I probably wouldn't try that. I would just cut it out with the scissors because you're going to get a cleaner line and make sure that you're not wasting your washi tape. So I'll waste mine for you guys, but yes. So here's my sentiment. Definitely stamped crooked. That's just how we roll around here. But the point of this is just to show you how simple it is to make a clean and simple card with this washi tape. So all I'm going to do is cut this down. Let me go in here and grab a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to be using Gina K's cardstock here to make a card base. I don't actually know what this color is called, but she has a lot of great colors in there. I just have kind of a little collection on my back there of some of her rainbow cardstocks. I just love them for my card bases because they're a pretty thick, heavy weight, and I use them whenever I need kind of a more solid card base. Now, of course, another thing you could do to make this a little bit more interesting is you could totally just leave it like that. Look how simple that card is, but it really stands out. Of course, you could add glitter cardstock too on the sides. Yep, this is my washi tape design. And I want to go in here and add a little bit of ink to this. So I'm going to take a little bit of Tropical Tango. It's definitely more green than this cardstock, but it's just going to give it a little bit of color onto the edge. And I am just bringing that color in just on the direct edge, just to create a little bit of a varying color on there. Awesome. So once I'm done with that, clean up my surface. And then I can adhere my panel right down onto my colored card base. And so I was kind of talking about doing this at Creativation, but I wanted to show it in a video. So I'm just going to adhere it down onto here. I always start at the top and then I bring it down on my card and adhere it all the way down, and that's going to make sure that it's lined up with both of the top edges and all the way down in your card. And there we go, a really simple, easy card just using the washi tape strips, featuring my crooked sentiment. But if you stamp your sentiment straight, this would be a beautiful card in the end. And of course I could stamp another sentiment to cover it up if I want to, just on a piece of separate cardstock. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so yes, these are tapes, but some of the designs from the tape also come in the stamp set. So let me show you guys so you can kind of compare. Some of the designs in the tape are original, and some of them came from the stamp set. So let me just show you, because I know there's going to be some questions about it. So look, these little animals and flowers, they're all on this one here. They're just shrunken down to fit. The snail mail is all new. It's not in this stamp set. The ladybug is in the stamp set, but it's shrunken down to create this fun little rainbow pattern there. And of course, the lines and the grass are new too. So really only the two of the designs are in here, but they're all kind of drawn in the same style and coordinate with the same color scheme, which I think is really fun. Awesome. Exactly, yeah, it doesn't need to be perfect. If you make little mistakes, it's really just handmade, which is awesome. Jen says I'm cracking her up. Exactly, right? It's fun to make mistakes and just laugh at them. Okay, so another really fun thing, guys, this is gonna probably get you to laugh too. So I have what is this? I think it's 2018 or 2017 Erin Condren planner. Y'all, I love this thing. If anybody knows of Erin Condren, she has some amazing, really well-made planners, and I think I'll order one in the future. This one's from 2018, and I basically it basically didn't get filled because I was in school too. And so there was too many things to juggle to even write anything down and remember it. But I think now that I'm just doing my own business, I probably should get another one of these. But 2018 planner, and I rip out pages to show you guys how to use it in your planners. So I'm going to grab, let me use one of the sheets that I've already been using off of. So I'm going to grab one of the ladybug strips. And so what's really cool about these is for all you people who love to go in and decorate your planners and make them even a little bit cuter, this is really great for you. So of course, you could take this and use it at some of these headers to make them a little bit cuter, to kind of separate out your day. So that's fun. It perfectly goes right over top of those. It's the exact size. Did I plan it? No, but it works really great on there. I knew that I wanted these to work in planners, so that's why I just made some thinner strips and some thicker strips. That way you could do little things like this. You could, of course, make them going down the column there. But another thing I wanted to share is, of course, you could use little strips like this, but even these larger guys, you could totally use in your planner. And all you need to do, let me clean off my scissors here. My product manager, I was like, hey, I want these guys a little bit bigger because I want to be able to cut them out. And she goes, there's no way anybody's cutting those out. But that's the reason why we put them on the white background, because literally all you have to do is go in here. You can cut around your guy. You can see how much room I've left, right? It's not like fussy cutting. If I want to, I can make the edges a little bit smoother on this side too, to make it a little bit more like a sticker. You don't even have to do this. You could leave it just a full rectangle if you want to. And then we can put it in one of the days, and you can keep it inside the box. You can have it kind of sticking over the box. But again, white background, so it blends in with your planner, right? How awesome is that? Right, yeah, I love how blunt she is though. She was like, I'm not going in and cutting those out. And I was like, no, like you can just cut right in between them and it'll do the same thing. But so much fun. I love this. Courtney Krieber's in here. She just stopped by. Hey there. Check out her most recent video. She did an ink comparison and used my inks in there too. I've wanted to do that video for a long time, but didn't want any bias on it. And she doesn't have any bias, doesn't work for any of the companies, but has a really great kind of comparison video showing some of the pros and cons of all of them. I watched it this morning. It's great. So let me test something out. So I want to see how this writes on there. So we'll kind of leave that sitting there for a second. I wanted to test out how you can write on here, because let's say I'm writing my notes, which I'm just going to write my name. I want to make sure you're going to still be able to plan on there. So let's see. Just going to make sure it's nice and dry. And it sticks. So there is the ink on there, and it's not moving. And this one is from a Letter It fine liner, but I'm sure if you use a Sharpie, it's going to sit on that surface really nicely too. This one's from Ranger. They make some lettering pens too. I use these all the time to fill in little stamped images as well if I make a mistake. So this is really awesome to use them in your planner as well. Really just a fun way to kind of decorate your planner, as I know lots of you guys like to do that, but I love little images and little designs to go in and do that as well. Awesome. Okay. Let's see, I also wanted to show probably the most simple way to use your washi tape, but I still think it is a really fun way to use it. Now let me go in here first, and I want to just share something quick. I want to try something, not share something. Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to use this to cover it up, my masterpiece that I just made. So what I want to do is I just want to show you how you can easily stencil on here. So let me go in with, let's do these little bugs. This is my Cordial Critter stencil. And I'm just going to decorate my envelope, because I think a lot of people forget to do that. I see Jennifer McGuire doing it a lot. And I just think it looks so beautiful in the end. When you take just a little bit of extra time to decorate the outside of your card too and make it even a little bit more special. And then I'll show you how to use the washi tape to decorate it too. So I'm going to go in with my Clear Skies ink. And I'm just going to go in here with my blending tool and start blending right through the stencil, which is super simple to do. This one is a little bit more fine line of a design, but I actually like that for little areas like this. It almost looks like you're just adding a little bit more detail, or like you drew it in there. And I love these little guys. These actually coordinate so well too. With this set, it was all about just making sure that these kind of outdoor critters coordinated with my washi tape and making sure everything worked together really well in harmony. So you can create a project, but then also use the washi tape to create an envelope. And the stencil can be used all together, but you can also use them all separately too, which I love. So here's the Cordial Critter stencil. And there we have the envelope flap all decorated. I'll just crease it back down. Right, I don't decorate my envelope a lot either, but when you have background stamps and you have stencils and you have things like that, just taking a little bit of extra time to make sure that everything looks good and coordinates together can be a really cool way to get a little bit more use out of your products. So that is so much fun. I love how this envelope looks now. If you want to, you could even go in and let's take some of these little critters here and just go on the edge of my envelope. Check out Christina Werner too. If you want some really awesome envelope art, Christina does such an amazing job. You guys probably already know her if you know me, but she just does such an awesome job at creating envelopes. And so here is just a really simple way to just spice up your envelope a little bit. And then I'll come in with just some ink on the blending tool through nothing, just to soften up some of those edge. But then you write your name, of course, and things like that in the address, but such an easy way. Right? I love it. Awesome. So this, then I can then use this along with my card. Again, it's coordinated really nicely. It's got that beautiful envelope to go along with it, which I just love the look of. And now I want to show you guys kind of how to finish off this envelope. So you could really go in with anything. I love this little snail mail design. And guys, do you know what's the cutest thing about this? On their little butts, they have gold foil. I was like, guys, I really want gold foil on them. Like, that is necessary. So we did. We added a little bit of gold foil onto them on their little dots, and it's so cute. And so, of course, I'm not going to seal it too tight because I can always peel the washi tape back up if I need. But all you need to do is just go in here, seal right across your envelope, and there we have a really beautiful design on the envelope. I gave one a birthday card to my friend with the large design across it, and she loved it. She loved how it looked on the envelope, and I think she peeled it off too, which is so much fun. You could keep the washi tape after you're done. So that is so much fun. Right, I'm terrified of bugs too, Courtney, but these are just so adorable and smiley on your card, which is so much fun. So I want to share a couple more things. I'm just kind of having fun crafting, so I hope you guys don't mind. You can always pop off if you need, but I'm just kind of having fun with this. So we'll see how long it goes. I want to show how to use the other background that I created, and let's do something just really simple. So I'm going to go in here and just go in with this fun watercolor background that I created, and I am so in love with this one, and I want to just use it on a card. So what I'm going to do, line up my stamp there. I'll place down my magnet too. Oh, Jeff is still here. I love how he pops in. He's probably working right now, but he pops in every once in a while for a little comment. Okay, so I went in with my Jet Black Archival ink. You would like a whole set of just the snails. Oh my gosh, I should do that. That'd be so cute. I'll definitely take that into consideration. I love those little snails. I didn't even really think about using them in a stamp set, but that is such a great idea. And so you can always, that stamped pretty well, but I'm just going to do a little bit more. Hopefully it stamps in the exact same spot. That's the nice part about having a MISTI too, is you can make sure that everything's going to stamp in the perfect spot every single time, which is super nice. Now, if I wanted to, I could go in here with colored pencil. One thing that I like to do when I'm doing just a simple card like this, where I'm going in and just stamping on my background and not really doing much else, you can always go in and add a little bit of shading using colored pencil. Just to some of those areas. This will just make it pop, make it a little bit more 3D on your card. It's not necessary, but it just adds a whole another awesome element to your card with a little bit of simple shading on here. So easy to do, but creates just such an awesome impact on your card. And so here I'm just going to go all the way around. You can see I'm just doing it pretty lightly and blending into almost nothing. But it just creates this simple, smooth blend on here. Awesome. So look at that compared to the stem. It just creates a little bit more of a defining point, and if you want even heavier shadows at the center, you could totally do that. Just to create a little bit more, let's see if it'll focus here, a little bit more depth and dimension there. Melissa said, you so have to do a snail stamp set. I think I will. Yep, for this, I just smooshed my inks onto a craft sheet or my laminate table, which I use. I wouldn't encourage it though. I'd encourage just using a craft sheet to protect whatever work surface you're using. Okay, and there we go. I love how that looks. And so, then another thing you could do, which I really love to do this with my designs, I'll take my trimmer. This is a Fiskars paper trimmer. The only reason I use it is because it has this little wire guide here, but I don't think it's that necessary. I wouldn't recommend it. We all know I love my Tonic paper trimmer, and I find that it does a better job at cutting. This one I just like because it has that guide, so it can easily show you where you're cutting. So basically, I'm just sliding my trimmer almost to the image, because what I'm going to do is, you've probably seen me do this quite a bit too. I'm going to grab my Fussy cutting scissors again. Remove any washi tape on there. Yep, that was a Prismacolor pencil. Yep, and if you missed anything here too, you can always go back to the start once the live stream is over and kind of catch up on anything that you missed. So it'll always be here too, which is awesome. And then I'll just go in here with my Fussy cutting scissors, and again, really easy to just go in and cut out any detailed or intricate images. So here I'm just going to cut out my little lily. And so the cool part about this is it keeps one of the watercolor backgrounds in there, but adds a little bit of interest by just removing one side of it. And so I think that is super fun. I do this quite often on my designs when I have a cool background like this and I want to showcase it, but I don't want the whole thing, right? If you want a little bit more details in there on the other side, you can totally add them. So I'll show you kind of how to finish this card off. Glad you guys are enjoying this stream. I found it fun to just sit down and craft and chat with you all. And we've definitely made some really fun cards during today's live stream. So I'm just going to quickly go in here. Sorry, it's getting a little silent. I'm just in here focused on my cutting. And then I'll go in and I just match it up with the line, the straight line that I cut out. So that's why I like that trimmer. It just cuts a nice straight line, but again, it's not super necessary. You can always do that with your scissors. And here we have this fun cutout here. Let's see. Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for the stamp suggestions. I think it's so much fun, and that artwork I do already have, so I'll see if I can kind of add a little bit more to this set and create a stamp set with those snails. Okay. So let me go in here. I want to add a little bit more detail to this background. So one thing that you could do is just take a stamp and add a little bit more detail in that way. And so here I'm going to go in with, I think I'm going to do this one. This is one of my favorites. Or maybe I could do a stencil too. Let's see. What do you guys think? Stripes or this? I'm thinking stripes. To just finish it off, I'm gonna do them this way. Okay, so one thing that you could do when you're stamping is I'm gonna go in with a little bit of woof. And go in here and ink this up. And then I'm just going to stamp this off first. I'm going to grab a piece of extra cardstock. Let's see. A nice bright neon piece of cardstock. Just to stamp this off. And then we'll stamp it on here. Good, everyone is saying stripes. That is so good, because I already chose it. So perfect. And then I'll stamp it down. And so that gives me kind of a second generation stamped look. Wow, I'm dumb. Y'all, I did it the wrong way. Oh no. Okay. We're gonna do a take two. Pretend like that one never happened. We're gonna go in here and ink this up with woof. And actually, we might like the take two better, because what I'm gonna do, I find myself doing this a lot with this card stock. I'll take a Wendy Vecchi Perfect Gray card base, and I'm just going to go in here and stamp it down, which gives me kind of a tone-on-tone look, which I love. So there we have those stripes then. And here we can then add that down onto our card. So that gives more of a tone-on-tone effect. But of course you could do it with white too. If you actually stamp it in the right direction, then you can get a cool background like this. And one thing that I love about these stripes is they're a little bit imperfect. And I love that. It just makes them a little bit different, a little bit more unique too. Which is so much fun. Exactly. We've all done it before. Not all of y'all were live when you did it though. That's the thing. Okay, so just going to add a little bit of foam tape onto my card. And then we can add it all together, and I think that makes a finished card. We'll just need a little bit of a sentiment on here too, to finish it all off. I love when you guys chime in. Yeah, I love the gray card base too, especially with lots of color and stuff like that. The gray is just fun whenever you add like a design on, and you'll see I've been doing it a lot lately too, with whatever I have coming up next, wink wink. But I love doing it when I have like designs in the background. It just makes them kind of blend in a little bit more when you do it tone on tone with gray on gray cardstock, or even adding in a color here would be beautiful too. And that just creates such an awesome look on your card. And then of course you could add down a sentiment as well. Where did my stamp set go? I'll go in here And let's just do a thanks sentiment. Just because that's always a needed card. And so I'm just going to stamp it right down onto that foam tape part, which is a little bit risky because there's little gaps in the foam tape, so I couldn't press down super hard. But this is where I told you about this fine liner from Letter It earlier from Ranger. And this, you can just go in and fill in sentiments, and I do it all the time because, as we've discovered on today's live stream, I make a lot of mistakes. But they're pretty easy to cover up, and I'm actually glad that I made mistakes in today's live stream because it really hopefully helps show you guys how you can kind of fix some of the things, like even like this one. So there we go. Look at that. Let's like focus my camera. There we go. There we go. So look at how fun that is. I love that watercolor background, and this was literally just made using excess ink. Probably colors that shouldn't blend, right? Green, red, and purple. Those usually make lots and lots of mud. But today, like I said, my inks kind of don't make mud as easily as other products. And so that's where I love that. Awesome. Okay, so let me just read through some of the comments here. Is the Letter It pen Copic safe? Well, there's one way to find out. I know it's watercolor safe, so it might not be Copic safe because it works with my inks, right? So I go in and I will fill in some of the design if I missed any of it. And so I'm going to guess it's probably not Copic safe, but I'm just going to test it out. So this is an alcohol marker from Nuvo. I don't really want to ruin a Copic. Just go in here and make sure that it's dry. You know what? Yeah, it is. Those lines are still super sharp, which is weird because it works with my watercolors too, so I don't know what they used as a base for that marker, but it seems to work with both Copics and watercolor and be safe for both of them. So yeah, there you go. I know, Courtney, you love to do a lot of Copic coloring, so that might be nice to kind of fill in some of those lines. And I know it's probably cheaper than Copic fine liners too, because those are expensive. I think these come in a pack of 5 of all different sizes too, which is really nice. Awesome. So let me kind of recap it. So we made this awesome and fun card using my grass washi tape and the flower picking friend stamp set to create this fun little scene on the card. Then we also used some of the excess watercolor and my inks to create this fun card with the flower picking friend stamp set. So you can make it a little bit more elegant without the little guy on it. Then we also have this fun card, which was literally just made using a piece of washi tape, right? Some colored cardstock and a sentiment from my stamp set. You can use whatever stamp set you want. Again, just try not to stamp it crooked like I did, and you'll have a beautiful card in the end. Let's see, what else did we do, guys? It's under like piles and piles of stuff. So we created a fun planner page using some of the washi tape as well. Y'all can probably decorate a planner better than I can, as we can tell. And a fun little envelope as well. We did the flap on the envelope with the Cordial Critter stencil and used some of my washi to seal it off, which is such a great way to use the washi tape. Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I had so much fun crafting along with you and creating some really awesome and fun projects using my new release from the January release. Lots of awesome products there. And I have them all linked down below in case if you want to check them out. So it's a full release. That was my Creativation release, so there's lots of stuff in it. And of course, those washi tape strips are so much fun. They come in a pack of 8, and you can create lots with them on your cards, which is super awesome. So I hope you guys will give those, check them out, and check out the links down below. If anything is sold out, I think somebody said my inks are sold out. We're working to restock them right now. I think everybody's working on separate shifts now to make sure that we're still shipping stuff out, but also following the safety guidelines and making sure everyone is staying really safe over at Ranger. Everybody from the offices is at home, but we're still trying to get your orders sent out as well, which is really awesome. So hopefully those will get restocked soon. Usually by the end of every day, they get restocked with new product in the machine. So I'll kind of check out what's going on there, but hopefully keep checking back. And if you want inks or things like that or anything that's sold out, hopefully it'll be back in stock very soon. When is the next release, Boo? Martin asked. Well, I'll see you in like a week and a half or a week. So stay tuned to my Instagram. There will be more teasers on there as well coming soon, which is really awesome. Yay, thank you guys so much for joining my live stream today. I had so much fun just sitting down and crafting with you all. It's not often that I get to do this, but I think it'll be really fun, and maybe I'll do it even more over this time, where you guys are kind of sitting at home and don't have a ton to do, because I know sometimes it's fun to sit down and watch an hour video and just kind of craft along, and while you guys are crafting or working or things like that. That's what I like to do. Yep, I am going to go live as much as possible during this time. Maybe I'll come out with a schedule as well. Again, check out my Instagram if I do. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. And be sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss another crafting live stream or video like this one from me. Alright guys, I'll see you very, very soon for another card making and crafting video. Stay safe during this time. I'm thinking and praying for all of you guys. Big hugs, and stay inside if you can. If you're a nurse or anything like that, thank you so much. Anybody who is working right now, it really means a lot. You guys are helping protect us, and we really appreciate it. Thanks guys. Have a great one. Bye.